Former Reagan economist is with me now, Steve Moore. Steve, I know you have been listening in to Senator Cruz right along with me, and he does make a good point about a lot of pundits and a lot of strategists simply forgetting the people. How did that ring in your ear?
That's for sure. You know, we harken back to when there were 14 candidates. I think 14 or 15. I forget the number, Deirdre. But, you know, it's interesting. That was, what, 9 months ago. And here we are today, and it looks like it's a two-man race between the two candidates the Republican establishment hates the most, which is Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. I think there's some irony there. Look, there's a path to victory for Cruz, I think. You know, if he can get this into a two-man race, I think he may be able to beat Trump. The one thing that disturbs me about this race as a conservative Republican, you mentioned that I, worked with Ronald Reagan. I want to hear these guys talking more about the economy and jobs. They keep talking about the process and, all this political stuff. They're not talking about what the people really want to hear about, which is who's going to create the jobs, who's going to pay, who's going to get growth up to the rates that we're used to.
Okay, well, that is a very fair point, because last night at the town hall meeting, which Fox News hosted, Brett Baier, both candidates spoke about a lot of free things. Let's listen in together, Steve, and I want to ask you a question or two after.
I happen to believe, and I know not everybody agrees with me, I believe that health care is a right of all people. I believe that there is something wrong when we are spending...
Excuse me, where did that right come from in your mind?
Being a human being. But I believe, Brett, you may disagree with me, I believe that if she is poor and you are rich, she is entitled to the same quality health care that you have because she's a human being. I want to see public colleges and universities tuition-free. I want to create millions of jobs.
I'm a big supporter and defender of the Affordable Care Act. I'm going to get the costs down. We're going to get out-of-pocket costs down. We're going to get deductibles down. We're going to require more free services within the benefit package. I have a plan to do that, debt-free tuition, more help for non-tuition costs.
So, Steve, as you said, you're concerned that the Republican candidates, at least in the past 24 hours, have been focused on other issues. Is there a risk that some go to the other side?
By the way, Deirdre, it's not just the last 24 hours. I'd say it's the last 24 days. I mean, they just haven't been talking about the economy. Even the last couple of debates, I think they've had, 4 hours debates in the last two debates, and they probably had, about 20 minutes of discussion about the economy. Look, I listened to that interchange between the two Democrats, Hillary and Bernie, and the question I was asking, who's the socialist here? Which one? Because they're talking about giving more and more free things away.
Senator Sanders has really pulled Hillary Clinton over.
There's no doubt about that. And this is going to be the essence of, once the Republicans have picked a candidate, and look, there's no question it's going to be Hillary on the Democratic side, this is going to be this is what makes this such a consequential election. I mean, you've got two parties that, one is on Venus and one is on Mars. They're not talking at all about the same things in terms of their economic strategies. You get one party over the other, you're going to get a completely different economic strategy. The Democrats are saying more free things, but much, much higher taxes, more government, more debt. And Republicans, at least most of them, of the four remaining ones, are talking about cutting tax rates to get businesses, moving again. And that's really what this election is going to be about.
So, Steve, for tonight, 4 states, which GOP candidate is going to do best? Trump leading right now. I'm talking about total delegates, followed by Cruz, followed by Rubio. Kasich rounding up the line. So
here's why I think tonight is important. I don't even think it matters that much who wins these races, although that's really important. The big question all Republicans are asking is, has the Trump momentum slowed? In other words, is he in a slow slide? We saw some signs of that on Saturday night, where Trump underperformed from where he was in almost every poll in those 4 states. If we see a continuation of that, even if he wins Michigan, let's say, I think that gives hope to some of these other candidates. So I think that's the key thing to watch. Does Trump show a continued slide with voters? Because he clearly slid after that last Fox debate.
Steve, you're taking us back to our beginning statistics classes, measuring rate of change. I love it. Steve Moore, thank you so much.
Well, this is a finance show, right?
That's
It's an economic show.
That's right. Steve, thank you. Love